Hello, and welcome to another episode of China Record. Space is the new frontier because it is a mysterious and interesting place. It has an infinite number of things to explore and find out about. It's also where our future lies, with things like space travel, satellites, colonies on the Moon and Mars, etc. Space isn't just a place to look around or do research. It can also be used to help people on Earth. In 1957, when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite, the space race began. In 1958, the United States sent up Explorer 1 as a response. But in the 21st century, the United States has seen its rivals lose ground in the space race. In the last few years, China has done more in the aerospace field than ever before. But how did China get to be so successful? Is it important for America to win the space race? China's national space program is called the Chinese Space Program. It was started by Mao Zedong in 1958, and things have moved quickly since then. Dongfang-Hong-I, also called the first satellite, was sent into space on October 1, 1970. China has successfully launched 31 satellites into space as of 2013. One of these, a lunar probe, sent back pictures of the Moon's surface in December 2013. On July 20, 1969, Apollo 11 was the first mission with people on board to land on the Moon. It was sent by the United States. The US has always said that it was the first country to put a person on the Moon. Millions of people gathered around their TVs to watch two US astronauts do something that had never been done before. People said at the time that the space race was what made it possible for the US to send people to the Moon in the first place. The US has spent a lot of money on its space program, which many people think has been worth it. About $17 billion is spent on NASA every year. The amount spent 10 years ago was less than this. More money is being spent on training astronauts and making new rockets and spacecraft. The agency also pays for international partnerships that help people all over the world learn more about space. Why does China have a space program? Since 2013, both the program's budget and what it has done have grown a lot. By the end of the year, China wants to send a manned mission to the Moon. If it works, it will be the first time a country other than the US has done this.
据悉，2021年以来，中国载人航天工程已成功实施，空间站关键技术验证阶段5次飞行任务。目前，核心舱组合体在轨稳定运行。神舟13号航天员乘组状态良好，计划于今年4月返回地面。
China's space program is clearly picking up speed, and soon it will be on par with those of other big countries. Reports say that between 2013 and 2016, China's budget for space went from $3 billion to $6 billion. This is because their missions to Mars and Chang'e went well. Also, a number of new space agencies were made to make this field more efficient and encourage new ideas. China now has one of the biggest space programs in the world, and they are quickly becoming a leader in international space exploration. President Xi Jinping said, "Our dream has always been to explore the vast universe, grow the space industry, and turn China into a space power." In the field of human space flight, China also used technologies made in other countries, especially Russia, to speed up the development of its programs. Experts said that the Chinese got better in some ways, but that by using Russian technology, they saved a lot of time and money. In the last few decades, China's space program has grown at an amazing rate. Beijing is spending a lot of money to make China only second to the US in terms of what it has done and what it can do in space. China built its own space station in less than 2 years. It now has its own navigation system, called Baidu, and can send people into low Earth orbit. It also launched more satellites than any other country did last year. Beijing plans to launch the Xunshan Space Telescope, which is said to have a field of view 300 to 350 times larger than that of NASA's Hubble Space Telescope. China's space program aims to explore space to learn more about the Earth and the universe, help the world agree that we all have a responsibility to use space for peaceful purposes and keep it safe for everyone's benefit, meet the needs of economic, scientific, and technological development, national security, and social progress, and raise the scientific and cultural level of the Chinese people. In the space race, China has been trying for years to catch up to the US. The USA won the race in 1969 and again in 1972. During this time, the country also reached other important milestones in space exploration, such as building and running fully functional space stations. But China is now the main player, not Russia. Since the 1970s, people have been talking a lot about the space race between China and the United States. Both the US and China have made a lot of progress in space exploration, but the US has been a little bit ahead of China in terms of technological progress and achievements. But China's Chang'e lunar exploration program and plans to build a space station have made a lot of progress in the past few years. In the end, it's hard to say that one country won the space race because both of them have done amazing things in their own fields. Both China and the United States now know that space exploration can be used for peace instead of war, but they are still ready to use it for war if they have to. When it comes to exploring space, the future looks good for people. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Until then, stay tuned and good luck.